Welcome to another episode of Inquiring Minds. I am Steve Harper, and with me, as always, is my co-host Donna Karlin. How are you doing, Donna?
I'm really good. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm in a different location. I like to keep it, fresh and different sometimes. And I'm actually working from my home office today, so that's why the background looks vastly different than what our audience is used to seeing. But I'm doing great. Working from home,
Isn't
I get a lot more done.
isn't
So,
it great though that we have these options through technology that we could work from anywhere really, and it
yep,
sort of uh,
absolutely.
gives us the opportunity to continue to connect and not have to say no, can't do it because I'm not in this one location.
Yeah, I will say that that'll be another episode that we should cover at some point. But I'm about to leave town for a little bit of an extended trip, and I'm trying to unplug completely. And I have a prospective client for one of my for my software company who unfortunately says there's no reason why you couldn't make this meeting and do this Zoom. Who doesn't have access to technology? So there's a limit to that, and being able to set your rules to say yes, because we can doesn't mean that we should. And so I think we should explore that at some point in a future episode about when to unplug completely and whether we should make ourselves that available to people and clients.
That's a
No
really
offense, I
great.
would love to see you next week, but I'm just going to be incommunicado next week. So
You know what? I absolutely advocate for disconnecting and
yeah,
actually going on vacation. No questions, no questions at all. And one day when we have that conversation, going to tell you the story about working with Microsoft and their integrated communications and what my point of view was being like 25 years older than everybody else in the room. So um,
that'll be a
it
fun
was
one. Yeah, let's talk about that.
okay. So we're going to park that for another time. So whoever's
Yep,
listening, keep staying tuned
stay
because we
tuned.
are still today I thought
What
it
are
would
we
be
talking
really,
about today? Yeah.
yeah, I thought it'd be really good to talk about resilience because that
Oh,
is something that is critical to everybody to be resilient. And it like I read this quote that really got me off on this tangent. Resilience is not just about bouncing back; it's about bouncing forward. That was by Dhaval Chadha, and I just fell in love with that quote because it's true. It's being able to literally bounce and move forward as opposed to bouncing and moving backward. I just love that concept. And then I'm thinking, what are the practical strategies that we could discuss for cultivating resilience? And one of them is accepting what's going on and reframing it in a way that it no longer has that terrible hold on us. Positive talk and mindset for sure, seeking support, and I of course I contextualize everything because I'm writing like a lunatic all these books, and like one of them talks about not resilience per se, but the positive mindset dealing with the tornado after having dealt with cancer, how like next to like in comparison it's what's the big deal about a tornado, right? Things could be rebuilt. So that is the reframing and the mindset in action, which makes a huge difference. You're not stuck in that angst and
yeah.
that emotion. What you're doing is saying like, seriously, in the scheme of things, I'm alive, will rebuild, and it's not the end of the world, which is also about coping skills and the experiences and how one sets you up for dealing with the next in a much easier way. If you say to somebody, oh, a tornado might hit you, you're already a nervous wreck just in case it hits you. Once you're hit by a tornado, the next tornado warning you have, and trust me, there have been way too many over the last few weeks. I look at it as I survived one. I know exactly what to do for the next one, and I don't have to play it by ear. I actually have a system that I could work with. So, I wanted to discuss resilience because I think we've all dealt with trauma situations that have really pushed us into a hole in some way, shape, or form, discombobulated us to the point where we're so indecisive we can't move forward. What are some of the tricks of the trade that you use, practical things that you do to remain resilient and not stuck in that emotional mess.
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. Obviously the challenge I think that people find themselves in often is they don't recognize how resilient they really are. We've had occasions to work with coaching clients, I'm sure you have, that, feel like the sky is falling, life is over, their careers are, just at a dead end. And I always try and shake them out of that mindset to say, and yet you got up this morning and you put your one foot in front of the other and you're here and you're talking about it and you're having conversations, and there's an element of resilience there, and people don't recognize that in themselves, and that we don't get stuck in the circumstances. We may think we are, but at the end of the day, everything from whatever major trauma or major event may have happened, every step past that, every day past that, every month and quarter and year past that is a proof in your resilience, your ability to just get up, take on a new day, take on a new challenge, solve the problem from a different perspective, look at it from a different angle, incorporate a new set of people that can help guide and direct you where you need to be. These are all things that prove that we are resilient, committed to go forward creatures. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that stay stuck in the stories. We've talked about that. We've talked about people that can't seem to get past certain things. But even they, if you reframe it in a way that lets them see that actually they are exhibiting a certain amount of resilience on an ongoing basis, they're just letting this thing continue to hold on to them, right? It's like continues to pull them to the stake in the elephant, right? The elephant doesn't feel like it can move, so now all I have to do is put a little wooden stake and the elephant doesn't move. It's a mind over matter kind of thing. And I think resilience is something that we should absolutely spend more time understanding and appreciating about ourselves. And so some of the strategies that I've used in the past is to recognize what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You going through a tornado, going through your challenges on your health. You're not one that's going to sit idly by and allow those things to define your life from that point forward. You are going to learn from them. You're going to take the lessons. You're going to prepare for the next whatever gets thrown at you, but you're going to learn from the experience in a way that makes you better, not worse. And I think that's one of the things that is so admirable about people that go through hard times or face difficult challenges. The lessons that can be learned aren't so much in the failures or the circumstances, but in how people respond and react to them. And so I think that there's an opportunity for us to really take a look at that in our own lives, live sort of vicariously through the examples that are set by people like yourself and others that we encounter in life that have had hard times and somehow still managed to get up and put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward.
Yeah, I love what you said. And our life isn't only that one situation or circumstance. That's the other thing, to pad your world with all that you can be grateful for, even in the midst of that mess, is one of the great coping mechanisms. Is to say, like I used to say to people, yes, I have cancer, but I am not the cancer. There's so much more to me than the illness or the disease or
Yep.
whatever you call cancer. And I need to remember that my entire focus should not be on that. It should be on the rich life that I have to sustain me through it.
Yep.
Same thing. Like I was telling somebody just the other day that we made the most incredible connections and forged relationships with those that were actually hired to protect us after the tornado hit. We're friends with certain cops now and firefighters, paramedics. I worked with them before, so it was the ones I worked with that came to the area to support the area. It was just amazing, and we're still in touch. It's 5 years later, and we're still in touch. We're still supporting each other, seeing each other socially, because we were just so grateful and connected at such a fundamental level. Our
Yeah.
our community's never gone back to the way it was. We're incredibly close and tight and supportive of each other. It's unbelievable. So there's a lot that come out, the other end from these circumstances. But what are your support systems? the support systems are things that you forge now. So, heaven forbid you're thrown into this quagmire of mess that just totally overwhelms you, for lack of a better word, and you have that support system in place that is there to help you through it.
Yeah.
This is the time when you don't need to be 100% resilient to forge those relationships so they're so strong that people don't feel you're using them just befriending them because of the situation you're in. They just have your back without you asking.
Yeah.
Those like these are some of the coping mechanisms to have to be incredibly resilient. And like, I know that I'm super blessed with my surgeon, with everyone that I've come across, the nursing staff, um, everyone who helped me through, the two bouts of cancer, that it just elevates you to a different level. So, I'm going to ask our listeners, what, how are you padding your environments and the people around you, your experiences, your knowledge, everything, so that what you've learned and what you're surrounding yourself with seamlessly takes you through any kind of trauma, to the point where you don't need even as much resilience as if you didn't have them, because your environments are just literally taking you through them in such a supportive manner. I think that, that's the question to ask yourself: financially, experience wise, health wise, relationship wise, network wise,
Yeah.
all of that. How do you continuously grow and pad those environments would be really a place to start.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. The thing I would suggest is that you need resilience reminders, right? So if you do two things, one, make a list of all the times you've been resilient. Put that in a journal somewhere you can easily access it when you need it, when you have those moments of challenge that you can come back and say, look, I overcame all this crap. I'm going to overcome this, right? That becomes one. And then create your resilience partners, your resilience network, people that are going to be there that understand you're going through maybe let's say a job change that you didn't expect, or something didn't fall your way, and you know in that moment that there are lessons that you'll learn from and you're going to want to reference back to, but sometimes it takes somebody to remind you. So you actually call that out and say, I need you to be one of my resilience reminders about what I went through and how I dealt with this, a divorce, major tragedy of some sort, what I learned about the job change or whatever the circumstances are. And Donna, I would appreciate if I go through this again or I run into a circumstance where I feel like I'm at my wit's end, that you'll remind me, hey, remember when you went through that tornado? And remember what you did because of that tornado, all the connections you made, how you're prepared for the next one. You can do that, sister. You can do anything, right? No matter what this current challenge is, you made it through one, you'll make it through this. They become your champions, and that by extension in a lot of ways becomes what a coach does for you, right? So they have long memories, going back to my elephant my elephant idea. They remember these things because you're paying them to do that, but you also can build that network of people that will be there for you, and
Yeah.
sometimes they will step up to the plate in ways to help you with your current situation or circumstance in a way that will just completely blow you away. And I think those are two things that can help you really recognize and understand what you've done to get where you are today, and that you've overcome so much. And, there'll be more that you need to overcome in the future. And you need those reminders at the ready, whether that's your people or your journal or both.
So I have an offer to our listeners. If you start with negative self talk, the sky is falling, I'm never going to get through this, why me kind of stuff. Now, the minute you start doing that, I want you to hear, that's one hockey puck moment from Donna. Which means I'm throwing this at you to say, stop it. And you start turning that around and you say, this is what I can do. This is who I am. This isn't going to take me down. I'm much bigger than this. I'm much stronger than this. And you just remember this hockey puck
I
coming your
love
way.
it. That's good. That's
Yeah. And we
great.
have one, two, three hockey puck comments coming from Steve where I'm going to start
Yeah.
tossing them at him. Well, this is one, two, three hockey puck moments for the audience. There you go.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Well, yeah, this is that as all of our conversations end up being. This is fun, insightful. I learned so much from these just because of the nature of the topics. But Donna, how can our audience tell us what they're pulling out of this, like this particular episode or other episodes? How can they get involved in conversation with us? Maybe offer up some suggestions on topics they'd like us to cover in the future.
The best way is to join our Facebook group, Inquiring Minds with Donna, Karlin, and Steve Harper. And let us know what you get from these shows. If you'd like us to discuss something specific. In this one, I'm going to throw something at you that a request. So when you see this posted and you listen to it, I would invite you to share with the other people in the group. What are your tricks to remain resilient? What have you done in the past or said to yourself to keep you on track? Because I think that would benefit everyone. We would love to hear from you. So that's a call out to our listeners.
Excellent. I like that. I love that a lot. So that's a great call out. Well, listen, we are so grateful that you tune in to Inquiring Minds each week, and we will be back again with another episode very soon. Well, next week, as a matter of fact. But until then, Donna, have a great rest of your day.
You as well.